And we are back, episode number 9. We're almost able to run out of fingers. Episode 9 of the Cholent Digital Dove, Sruly Meyer. Oh, Sruly's in this cool, like, whole other room thingy, and I got lights now. So, because
I went more beige, you went more blue.
I want more. Well, I could change the colors, but we're gonna leave it with this. Yeah. So last week's episode, Dov and Gabe exploding all over the Spotify world. Dov and Gabe, of course, one of the original major artists of Jewish music. But today we're gonna bring it back to food. Surely, today's episode is gonna be all about food, particularly sandwiches.
I like that one.
So, Sruly, who would you say, what restaurant or chain or anything was like kind of like that seismic shift in the Jewish world in terms of food and sandwiches in particular?
I wonder if I should go back like really far.
How far? Go right ahead. You're a little bit of a foodie historian in addition to being a music historian. Subsational from they were on
Subsational, right? Not Subsational.
Right, Subsational.
So long ago, I can't remember.
They were on Coney Island Avenue, right?
Okay, so after I was finished with yeshiva, I went to work in a Chabad house for about 3 years in Fairfax, Virginia, where there was very nothing. Very nothing. Is that a word? Very nothing? I don't know.
Very nothing, yes.
It was very much nothing, except if I drove to Baltimore, which was an hour, or Silver Spring, which is about 40 minutes, whatever. So I was very used to not having anything except for like special occasions. Then I moved from there to Flatbush Avenue J, right under the tracks, East 14th.
That's literally the heart, from nothing to the heart of kosher. Basically, that was the heart of kosher food as it existed in Flatbush back then.
I'm pretty sure I gained about 40 pounds, like right off the bat. Like, welcome to Brooklyn. Here you go. Garden of Eden, pizza time. With
Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden, yeah, exactly.
The muffins. Remember the muffins that were like the size
Huge
of your head?
And by the way, on Avenue M, not so far over, was another millions of restaurants. And I was literally living right off of J and East 14th.
Wow.
So one of the things I discovered that I thought was just like blew my mind, because we didn't really have this in Florida, which was Subsational. And you would just go in there and you order a sub and you just put in whatever you want. And it was good.
Now, what did they have in their subs? Were they like a fried chicken schnitzel kind of place?
Yeah, you could get, chicken schnitzel or, I don't know, anything you wanted, basically. Anything from tuna to meat to chicken. They also have these Philly steaks. These, like, by the way, and they used to have fake cheese, I think, also, if I remember correctly. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for me. It was that Philly cheesesteak style with the dripping with the meat and the onions, the fried onions and everything. And I was like, I'm never leaving Brooklyn again. It's just like the idea that you could have sandwiches, because also I grew up in Florida, where today it's hard to imagine, and we'll get to that a little later in the show. But when I grew up in Florida, there was, on one hand, maybe 5 restaurants in total. Like,
by the way, you said Florida again, just saying.
That's what it's called, yes.
Yeah,
the people who live here get to decide how it's said. That's
okay, whatever. So Subsational is your pick for the seismic, like, restaurant.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so, because, until then, you would just go to a restaurant. And I feel like back in those days, it was very simple. It was so simple back then.
It was a chicken sandwich came on a Kaiser roll. It didn't even come on a long roll. It came on a Kaiser roll.
Do I feel like I'm old enough that I remember before sushi became the staple? I feel like I am. Like, when I was a kid, there wasn't sushi, and it was probably my late teens, early 20s, when all of a sudden every restaurant started making sushi.
Can I ask you a question, Shirley? Do you like sushi?
I like certain sushis, and I like certain sushis at certain times.
The reason I ask you is you hate on sushi a lot. You have a thing about not.
It's not that I hate on sushi. That's what I'm saying. Sushi, there's a professional person that needs to know how to make sushi. Someone has to know how to make sushi. You can't just, like, I went to a restaurant last week, which is a cafe. You get, avocado toast and coffee and whatever. And they're like, we sell sushi now. And I'm like, you do? I'm like looking around. I don't see anyone. And then we ordered something, and it came back like as if something you make like in camp for like a project. And then I looked around, and I don't want to say, but the person that was making it should not be making sushi.
Exactly. We all know where you're going.
We all know what I'm talking about. No DM.
There is definitely a difference when you get that sushi that is made And some of the sushis now, they come in like these like really fancy boxes. When you get like one of those and you open it and the roll is just tightly packed, all the ingredients taste distinct, and you pick up the piece of sushi and it literally doesn't like turn into a what's that bowl called?
Poke bowl.
It doesn't turn into a poke bowl in your hands, literally, when it just explodes and there's cucumber and salmon everywhere.
Right, but so it has to be done right. Like if you're selling pizza, you have no business selling sushi. I'm sorry, I just don't think it makes sense.
I agree.
Do they sell sushi in Domino's? No, I'm pretty sure they don't.
But I think they sell like chicken wings and stuff, but I don't know. I just remember in commercials. All right. So for me, the restaurant that I think was like hey, sandwiches are here and going to become a thing. Now I'm from Teaneck, so I'm biased, but I say Chickies. Now Chickies was like revolutionary.
That's more recent though.
It was more recent. Yeah. It's actually,
20 years, like 15 years.
I think they've been around for 15 years at this point. They've been through a couple of iterations in terms of ownership, I think. But the basic concept where it was like, we're going to give you this like thing. Now, there are those who would say that the current Chickies sandwich versus the old Chickies sandwich, both in terms of cost and volume of food, et cetera. But I think it's great regardless. And I know food costs have gone up and we're not even going to go there now. Yeah, but like the Chickies sandwich, when you get a full-size Chickies sandwich, I always call it like it's the size of your arm. Like it's gigantic. And the amount of food that they pack into there is pretty crazy. And I don't know, I would have to look up which restaurant like came first. Did Chickies come first, or did places like Holy Schnitzel or things like that
I'm glad you brought up Holy Schnitzel, because I was going to say that back in about 2008, 2009, me and Benny and Avi, we were working on Benny's first album, Benny Friedman, and we did most of our recording in Staten Island. And there wasn't a lot of restaurants in Staten Island, so whenever we wanted to eat before, after, middle studio sessions, we would do Holy Schnitzel in Staten Island.
That was their original location, I believe.
Right, that was the original location. And for me, I felt like that was also what you're saying now about Chickies, or even what I'm saying about Subsational, which maybe is like restaurants 1.0. For me, also Holy Schnitzel, to go in there, and they were really good about customizing.
All right, so with a little use of the interwebs, Chickies opened in 2005, and Holy Schnitzel opened in 2009. So
I remember when they opened in Staten Island. It was about 2009.
Right. Chickies is almost 20 years old at this point.
Wow.
Now, again,
where was Chickies' first location?
Yeah, I think the exact same place they are now in Teaneck. Literally, they just redid it a couple of times. And also their branding changed a little bit. But basically, the idea was we're going to make a couple of different kinds of sandwiches using basically, similar ingredients, just different. Like, for example, they have, 5 or 6 different kinds of schnitzel, which at the time was revolutionary. Nobody had, schnitzel was just schnitzel. Then they were like, hey, we're going to make schnitzel with spicy breadcrumbs, and we're going to make the Captain Munch, which still is, I think, their number one seller, which was this, hey, let's take, cereal, crunch it up and give this chicken this sweet flavor. They also had this kind of like idea of, hey, you could put whatever you want on the sandwich, all these different kind of toppings, and then the sauces, and you'd get this sandwich. And I don't know, I can't now finish an entire Chickies sandwich, but back in the day, I could make. By the way, I decided, and for those of you who listen to our podcast, the thing that we say the most is back in the day. We say that all the time because we're
age appropriate.
Age appropriate. But the I still remember like just that sandwich with endless pickles. It was great. Now, since then, there have been an explosion.
But one second, I just want to stop you. You live in Teaneck, and if I remember when we first met, you also worked in Teaneck.
Yes.
Right.
Well, actually, I initially worked in the 5 towns, then moved my office to Teaneck once the technology.
Right, by that upstairs, like where Camastora.
Correct.
Was, right. Okay.
Correct.
So for people who lived in Brooklyn, Chickies was not going to be like. I mean, I guess Holy Schnitzel also maybe because unless you were in Staten Island, but I never really went to Chickies because I hardly ever went to Teaneck.
Right. Well, then you had this whole explosion of, besides the other kinds of the other restaurants that came out, you had the explosion of the franchise within the Jewish world, which I think Dougie's may have
probably
been the first.
Dougie's.
Dougie's
Kosher Delight also had, they had in Flatbush, they had in Manhattan.
I don't know if
They
those
have
were
a
those
third
actually
one.
franchises or were those just owned by the same person?
Right.
Or?
Well, anyway, once we start talking about franchises, we don't really know the deals that each place has or doesn't
Right.
have.
We don't know which ones are actually owned by
Right.
the parent
Dougie's
company.
also. Dougie's. I remember Dougie's. I think it only recently closed in Baltimore, but I could be wrong. Maybe it didn't
I
close.
think you're right. I mean, they at one point were huge. You know, they were the original location in Manhattan. They were in they were in a
I would
borough
say that
park.
Dougie's was probably the cool of those places. Like Kosher Delight, you went with like to your grandmother in Borough Park,
You know
or
what
like
though?
Manhattan. It wasn't like cool.
I did a
It was
game show
like
the other day. I did a game show the other day with a room full of people who I would say were between the age of like 35 and 50. And I asked the question about Kosher Delight, and every single person there, because I go back to like with music, what you had or listened to when you were in high school, that's what you remember and love.
sure.
And everybody in that room, like you say, Kosher Delight hamburger, and everyone's like has this just emotional
Yeah,
connection
but I
to
don't
it.
think I think it was like a mature adult place. It wasn't like Dougie's had like a cool factor. Like Thursday night,
Oh,
all the cool people
definitely.
were there. Yeah.
But Kosher Delight was where you went for your birthday party when you were
Right.
6 with your
Right.
grandparents. That's where they took you out.
It
I still
just
remember
it's
that.
so sterile. You remember how it just feel like a
But
cafeteria?
but I both get the heartburn when I say the word burger from Kosher Delight, and also like I remember it. It was so good. Like it was. But if you think about it, it was probably just like a prepackaged Meal Mart burger on a bun with a squirt of cat. I
Yeah.
still remember one pickle, one ring of onion
It uh, was it Kosher Delight had the big squirts, right? For the
of the
ketchup and
ketchup. The
yeah.
ketchup thing,
I like
yes.
the industrial. In
And it
Manhattan, I remember
never went the
specifically.
right place. You know, you tried getting it on your hot dog, it got on the, and every tray was like sticky from other people's, but still there
Oh,
was
you're
a
right.
certain,
They're bringing back memories. That's
but
so
everyone
funny.
had that emotional connection to it
Yeah.
because when you were, if you're around, 40 some odd years old, that was it. There was nothing else. Dougie's then came out.
Right.
I think this whole, I will call it mid-range fast food-ish kind of restaurant that exploded onto the
How about
scene.
this one? Let's see if you remember this one. And this one comes with a fun story. In Borough Park, okay?
Immediately, I'm not going to remember there because I never really went to Borough
Wait,
Park
you might
restaurant.
remember McFlashicks.
Oh, so that was like in
They're
Teaneck.
the ones that got sued.
Yeah, and in Teaneck there was, I think it was called Flegels, also like this, like basically one step. I'm not going to call one step down, but
Right. You're nice.
not Kosher Delight, but the similar model in
Right. So
terms of what they were.
McFlashicks was a Hasidish owned, operated in Borough Park, and the logo was like the M arch, and all the branding was was like McDonald's, but like
It
McFlashicks.
was straight out of the Eddie Murphy movie, like that. What was it, McDaniel's in the
Right.
movie? In
But
the movie
they
commercial?
didn't get sued, but they got like cease and desist, and they ended up having to change the name.
No. All right, so Chickies for me, I think
Yeah.
was the
I think
start of the
Holy Schnitzel
sandwich.
for me, probably.
But I think I agree with you because Holy Schnitzel then kind of really blew it up. Holy
Yeah.
Schnitzel started with the franchising thing, and
And they're
now
here now. I mean, they were in Aventura for a while, and they were really, really good. And then I think they had some, the owner and the franchise guy that was here didn't, whatever, see eye to eye, so they closed it, and then they reopened now for the first time in like 2-3 years
well,
here in Hollywood.
but now there's like something called Holy Toast. What's the shot with that?
Okay, so Holy Toast is essentially paninis.
So it's not Holy Schnitzel, which,
No.
by the way, I'm just saying, if you one of my
and you got a Holy Toast in Brooklyn now, I think. They just
and there's one opening in Teaneck, I just heard.
Oh, really?
If you look it up, if you type Holy Toast, it says they're opening in Teaneck, which
it's
is
basically like Subway, but you toast it. You panini.
right. So there was a panini place in there. I think there actually still is. I think it's called Pressed in Englewood.
Yeah.
In Englewood, there's a panini place. I happen to really like panini sandwiches.
I do also. They're also very easy to hold.
Right. Well, they don't really fall apart. Although,
right.
If you make them wrong, like when you make them at home and you put too much sauce in it, and then you panini it, and the sauce is like literally running down your arm, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, and they have a Holy Toast in Wynwood, which I don't know if you know Miami at all.
Not at all.
But Miami, that's like south, more like downtown, which there's really not a lot of kosher down there. So when they opened, I was really excited because it's a really nice, fun place to go. But there's nothing kosher there. So, but now they have this Holy Toast there. So we went there I don't know, like like when they first opened, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, and it was terrific and not expensive really for some reason. I don't know why.
So
Don't tell
interestingly
them.
enough, speaking about like pressing things, Carlos and Gabby's, their wraps, that was something that they did, which I didn't think anybody else did. They made a
Carlos
wrap.
and Gabby's is a very interesting that you brought up because they also tried to go franchise and they also had a Miami for a while.
They
Miami
at
Beach.
one point were the top of the game at one point. I don't really know.
Avenue J, I remember.
They had
right in New Jersey.
They had Five Towns. They had not sure where else did they. I think they had one in the city too.
Oh, that's right. They were in the Five Towns. Now I remember.
They actually, their food when they first came out, their food was like, wow, hey, this is like really good. It was refreshing. It was different.
Well, the one on Coney and Avenue J area, that was very popular for a long time. And they had the upstairs also.
They had an interesting space. They're also like open late. It's funny. Right. In Teaneck, we have this problem where essentially everything just closes at like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Is that right?
No place to get late food. No place.
Wow.
And the places that try to do the late food thing, Chickies literally at one point was apparently open to like 3 a.m. on Saturday nights, which I didn't understand, but apparently the kids used to go. Now there's nothing.
I never really got Teaneck in terms of the population because it feels like there's a lot of people there. Would you say there's a lot of people in the Teaneck? And also you have to say like Englewood, Bergenfield.
Correct. In other words, when I say Teaneck, you're now talking about Teaneck, Bergenfield, New Milford, Englewood. Englewood expanded to Tenafly. You're just it's really
for me. They can't support like. It's interesting that you say that because here in Florida we have that question all the time in South Florida. Like, can you support it? You would think Teaneck is very established.
Well, it's not a matter of can't support it. It's also you have like different neighborhoods. Like for example, the Queen Anne area of Teaneck, we'll call it that, where a lot of the restaurants are located. Not only are they in Teaneck, but they're also right near all what I'll call the apartments. Now, we're not going to get into a whole real estate thing right now, but what's happening is the real estate prices in Teaneck are insane. You have a lot of kids who want to stay in this community, and they end up staying in apartments a lot longer than people can because they simply can't afford houses here. And you have, I don't know if it's thousands, but a lot of young couples in apartments right near that area of Teaneck. You also have 2 high schools and an elementary school right down the block from a lot of these restaurants.
Right.
And come the school year, you're going to get, 400 or 500 kids coming to get lunch within an hour. I mean, that's money,
right,
for a lot of these restaurants. So
that's interesting. I don't know. Here we do have places now that are open late, and we have the sandwiches places. There's a lot of sandwiches, but I don't know if it's. I'm trying to think of like what would be like a go-to sandwich place for me here.
What's interesting? So I always talk about Mike's Chicken and how I love their chicken and how it's amazing. Apparently, their sandwiches are even better than their chicken. I haven't had one, but they're
Mike's Chicken.
Dude, we haven't talked about Mike's Chicken.
Is that not? You're not talking about anything to do with Mike's Bistro. That's a different place.
About
Mike's Chicken.
Sruly, time out.
I never heard of it.
You're kidding.
Where is it? Okay. Teaneck?
No, Mike's Chicken is in Lakewood. And now we need to do a whole show about Mike's Chicken. Thing. Okay.
Crazy.
Mike's Chicken
exploded. It's insane.
We're not going to Lakewood will be a different show, but let's just talk about Mike's Chicken once we're talking about chicken and sandwiches. Mike's Chicken is, in my opinion, the best kosher chicken in the kosher industry.
Wow.
The business, the way the store runs is like nothing you've ever seen. You place your order, it is ready in seconds. And you can get as many sauces as you want, which to me is the most important thing. You can go.
Funny and that's like.
I always demonstrate. You can literally go to the sauce counter. They give you bags for you to just like take as many as you want. I think they make. I have a trivia question to this. I think they make like 10 different kinds of chicken. They also make sandwiches, but just the business model is amazing. It's this giant place with a huge kitchen where the orders get put into like a shelf thing that you just get. You're not like, no one's calling out your number. You get a text, bam, your order's ready. You go, you take it off the shelf. They bang out their orders so fast. I have ordered from the Garden State, gotten to Mike's Chicken, gotten back on the Garden State. You have no idea what I'm talking about if you're not from New Jersey, within 20 minutes, which is crazy.
I think that's a good segue to just how many restaurants there are now. I can't keep up with all these places in New York, New Jersey. It's very odd. I see it from afar because I don't live there, but I see from Instagram and people who contact me. And I'm saying here, I've been a little bit on a tear here on my Instagram about how there's so many restaurants here, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people do market research. For example, I was just saying this in general, that there's so many places opening and I don't get it. And then someone was saying something about pizza, and I was like, okay, so I did a count that in Hollywood, Florida, where I live, there are 12 places to get a pizza. 12 places. So of those, probably 6 or 7 of them are like straight up pizza shops. But then you have like Cafe Noir or Abby's or Grand Cafe that sell full-size pizzas also that people go to. They like it.
So, I mean, in Teaneck, we have right now...
That's a lot of places to get pizza in Hollywood.
I think within Teaneck right now, we have 3 pizza stores, meaning where their main product is pizza. I mean, one of them is kind of restaurant adjacent, so I don't know. Then you have a couple of places where you can get, your La Cucina de Nava and your Mocha Blue, where you can get your, fancier pizza pie.
But I count that. I mean, I think that's because like people go to Cafe Noir here, and kids get the pizza, like they get a pie.
So in school, in TABC, which is one of the local high schools, there's a lunch special at a pizza store. I think you get.
Just a quick side note. Do you have a category on your trivia that people should say the names of all of the acronyms of every single high school or school?
Oh, I don't, but that's a good one. I like that one.
What's TABC? I'm like, is it Talmudic Academy of Bergen
County? Very good.
Yeah, very good. That was
except it's Torah Academy of Bergen County.
See, that's what I was saying. I just gave you a good category.
By the way, you did. I do have a sandwiches category that I've been using lately at a lot of the camps, and this one gets so contentious. Oh, and one of my trivia questions was, how many flavors of Cholent does Leil Shishi have in Muncie? And some kid in Camp Aguda was like arguing with me for like 20 minutes afterwards, and he's pulling up the menu on this, that. I went there last night. I took a picture of their menu. Yeah, he was wrong. I was right. It's 8. But they can actually apparently make up to 17 different flavors of Cholent, which is insane. Okay.
So basically there's so many places, and I don't know. And it's funny because I look at it as like South Florida as a small community, even though it's not anymore, but it's still not New York. It's still not Brooklyn. It's still not Lakewood or Teaneck or Muncie. It's just not. I mean, it's also spread out. So people think of South Florida as like this specific individual.
They think of it as Collins Avenue, and that's it.
Yeah, but it takes me the same amount of time to go from Miami Beach to Boca as it does from Crown Heights to Lakewood.
Right.
So you consider those the same thing? Like those are very different areas with very different everything. So, but I'm seeing, and when I posted the other day about all the restaurants, there's too many restaurants in South Florida, I got a lot of comments from people in Lakewood specifically that said that Lakewood exploded on the scene in the last like 3-4 years, maybe 5 years. And since then, Lakewood has become this hot spot for new restaurants. And they were telling me the same thing. They feel like there's too many, and what's happening is, like I say, it's too many, and people are saying, what do you care how many restaurants there are? I'll tell you why. Because they also close. And then what happens is it creates this feeling of inconsistency that when a new place opens, you don't really want to try it because they close so fast. Not to mention the financial effect that it has on people, because you have vendors that don't get paid a lot of times, or other types of problems that it creates. So yeah, I do feel like it would be good if people were a little bit more careful, but
well, also people... what you have is the copy and paste. In other words, okay, so we're going to have our super high-end steakhouse that the building is spectacular, and the chef will come to your table and carve the steak, and there's bottles of wine on the wall. That's one type. We'll have the mommies come to have their very healthy salad with goat cheese on it and their $20 coffee. That's the second type. We will have our family generic shawarma, schnitzel, etc., kind of Israeli place. You'll have our Chinese fusion Asian steakhouse thingy that no one's really sure what it is. You'll have your super high-end pizza place. Every one of these places that we're talking about now is a kind of a copy and paste that people open multiple of the same thing. How can they all survive? There are some that stick.
Right. So I think it's a matter of like let's say with pizza, right? So there's so many pizza shops here. Why are there so many pizza shops? And I think the answer is that people say, oh, they don't really like them, so I'm gonna make a good one.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But when I posted that, I got so many people saying, we would love a fish grill place here. And I don't know why people are not listening. People who are in the restaurant space, if you come across this podcast.
But hold on.
People are dying for a fish restaurant here. There are no fish restaurants
in the entire South Florida. Aren't there a million cafes that serve really good fish?
Yeah, you could get a good salmon here and a good branzino there, but I'm talking about a fish grill, like fish sandwiches, fried flounder, fried, a cod, fish and chips, like just a straight up fish restaurant, like they have in Lakewood now.
They have fish grill in Lakewood.
They have fish grill in Lakewood, and
right.
it's terrific. And obviously in LA, I have been there, and it's terrific. They do not have that here, and so many people wrote me, why isn't there a fish grill here? Why isn't there a fish restaurant? And the other thing is, and this is really going to get me going because I've been talking about this for a while, there is no custom salad place here. No custom salad place.
Like we were talking about
Circa. There is no place. Yeah, you could go to Cafe Noir or certain places like that and get a giant pre-made salad you could customize it, I guess. But it's not the same thing as like when you went into Circa or these restaurants where they have a full salad bar with all the toppings. And also, I'm looking for something fast foody for salad, let's say. Like you go in, you pick your base, you pick your toppings, you pick your proteins, they mix it, they chop it, boom, in and out. There is no place like that.
I mean, so that particular restaurant that you're describing is actually what, the Sammy's salad is. Someone actually recently posted something very funny on Instagram on the design of Sammy's, which if you actually go in there as a customer,
I saw her.
Can be interesting. It's very funny. But their salads, they were one of the first places that had that kind of like, here, we're going to offer you a salad with literally, 50, 60 different choices on the menu, and you can get whatever you want. And
it's not complicated. We're talking about grilled corn, asparagus, green beans, and edamame. I don't know. I'm just randomly naming things.
Toasted sugar almonds, which everyone loves.
Sure. I mean, these are not complicated things to keep in stock, roasted cabbage, roasted cauliflower.
There's going to be a science to keeping 60 things fresh, ready to go, not
right. Sure.
There is a science to it.
I'm just telling you that I've personally spoken to at least 3 different places in South Florida who were asking me, well, I want to convert. I want to try something different. What do you think? And I told them, and they're all like, oh, wow, really? You're right. And then they don't make it.
Well, so here's a question for you.
But we do have 12 pizza shops, so there you go.
Speaking, well, I'll tell you what pizza shops don't have right now, which is that whatever the name of that bacteria, whatever thing going on with salads. You're talking to a guy who basically pretty much only ate that was like a major part of our diet was lettuce salads. We ate big salad.
I'm telling you, I would eat a salad 2 to 3 times a week at a restaurant, at a place like that.
I have not had lettuce since this whole thing started. It's not worth it. And at a certain point, Israeli salad, you just get sick of it. At a certain point, it's like,
do you know anyone that's actually gotten that?
No, but I don't care. Sounds really scary. And, I don't want to be that
I did
guy.
see someone post something online, but they said it's not worth that. You don't want it.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it sounds really scary. And no, I don't eat at Taco Bell, which is where they keep saying, oh, it's coming from Taco Bell. Don't tell me it's coming from Taco Bell. This lettuce supplier that they said supplied it to Taco Bell. Yeah, they sell that at my local, that particular brand.
The funniest thing about it is if you follow some of the comedy video people who were covering it, and they were saying that Taco Bell voluntarily offered that it might be them without any actual evidence. It's sort of like, yeah, that sounds like it could have been us. So we're going to look into it. But then they were saying that it's not necessarily, like you said, happens to be Taco Bell specifically. It's a lot of places. That got
what's amazing to me is the lack of accountability. Like, this government study said it's da-da-da-da, and then it's like, oh, wait, no, it not really that. But maybe it is, but it's a false test positive. It's like,
right, that's what it was. But that's what to me is funny is that if you look at the timeline is that when it first happened, nobody knew where it's coming from. And then Taco Bell was like, it might be us. We'll look into it. And then afterwards, they were saying, it might not actually be you. And they're like, well, we'll do a study anyway.
But I don't know. It really has scared me. I was at an event the other day where they had like the pizza guys, and every time the pizza guys come, they need to have that one salad for basically all the women in the room and me, because we're not eating the pizza. And I didn't want to eat the salad because
That's why you stick with sandwiches. Sandwiches don't give you that problem.
Well, if they have lettuce in the salad,
right? So you get no lettuce.
I literally had a tuna wrap recently, and I took the lettuce out, and I was like, "What is wrong with me? Like, come on, man! I just want this to be over already, so I can go back to my big salads with like lots of lettuce and stuff in them." But it affects everything.
Yeah, you covered this we covered this once with burgers. I'm not sure exactly when we were talking about your perfect burger, maybe. Yeah. But I would say that what's your perfect sandwich? Like in terms of
my perfect sandwich. So my favorite sandwich. I have a couple of perfect sandwiches. So straight off the bat, no changes to it. The Holy Toasty from Holy Schnitzel, just ordered as is, in my opinion, one of the top sandwiches in the Jewish industry.
Well, what's in sandwich?
I believe. Okay, so it's schnitzel, pastrami, fried onion, lettuce, tomato, pickle, sauce. That's it. And they press it. There's just something about the way it just works. It comes together, all the flavors. It is perfect, in my opinion. Now, are there other great sandwiches? Absolutely. Chickies, basically almost every one of their sandwiches is awesome. I modify all of them because I can, whereas at Holy, I don't know if you, like the Holy Toasty is perfect. I wouldn't want to modify it, but some of the Chickies sandwiches, oh, I don't like this, I like that. So I'll get pickles and hey, throw some olives in there. And you know what? I'll take 7 different kinds of sauce on it at the same time because you can. So,
I like my key to sandwiches, which I put into the handheld food category, is I don't like messy or drippy.
Oh, I'm the exact opposite.
Really, I'm very sensory.
I am sauce running down my arm guy.
I can't enjoy my food when
you're this guy. You're like too.
Yeah, I'm very sensory. So if anything starts going on here, I get nervous.
There's one Instagram lady who, before she eats sandwiches, she puts on rubber gloves, and I was like, "What is wrong with her?" And then I was like, "You know what? That's a great idea."
I've dried my sandwiches before.
You've dried your sandwiches?
Yeah, we sort of deconstruct it because it's very messy, and then you pat it with paper towels and then put it back.
That's a little weird. That's a little weird. I will say, Chickies did figure out they were one of the first places that they you get your sandwich, it comes in a bag, and each half is wrapped individually, and then the whole thing is wrapped again individually. I mean, they're using a lot of paper.
So Holy Toast kind of does that. Because also, I mean, honestly, I don't think I'm gonna give you enough left to Holy Toast. You're gonna try it.
I can't wait to try it. I've never had it.
It's packaged amazing. It tastes great. It's easy to eat, and they also, because they give you really long, I guess are foot longs, and they cut them in half, and when they put them in separately. So it's almost like you're getting 2 sandwiches. You don't have to break them up and follow, and they fall. By the way, the restaurants that don't cut the sandwiches all the way through in the middle, shame on you.
And if you cut in the middle of a piece of schnitzel, that makes me crazy. When you get one and a tiny schmidgick of a piece of schnitzel in one sandwich.
By the way, this is such a gold mine of content, because it's the same thing with wraps, where if they don't cut it right, then you get one that's too big and one that's too small, and you're just disappointed.
No, forget
there's no way not to be disappointed.
But what if you get if you're having a falafel wrap, and you got one end that has the falafel balls and the hummus, and the other end that has just salad and pickles? It's no.
Well, the good places that know what they're doing, they put falafel at the bottom, then put the salad, and then put falafel on the top, which is the place here that I like in Hollywood. They do that.
So one of my Instagram, what's it called when you're guilty pleasures? When I Instagram guilty pleasures, I don't understand a word they're saying, but watching Israeli shawarma place Instagram footage. Okay. Now, if you think about it, they're all selling the exact same product. There's no difference between, they all have the same stuff, and the roasted garlic and the this and the petrozilia and the hummus and the amba and blah, blah. But watching these guys put 87 pounds of food into a pita and not break it is amazing to me. Some of them now have started like, all right, forget it. We're just going to stuff it and give you a fork on top, which is brilliant. Use the pita as a vessel.
I'm surprised your algorithm hasn't moved you over to the wrap videos. Have you seen those?
No.
Where they're like, can we fit all this into a wrap? And they pour it on. You're like, it's just a wrap with like a mountain of food, and they do it. They wrap it and they tie it. I'll try to find you one.
Then you eat it and it explodes in
your hand. Somehow I think that's the genius of wraps, is that it's an art. It's an art to get it right, where the bottom part's also not all stuffed in with other wrap. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, don't you
like
hate
when
that?
you get to the end of your wrap and it's just
wrap and sauce?
It's so if you're really good at this, you could do it in a way where you don't have that. Like, and that's also the thing, the way they wrap it and then they put the wrap gets stuck into the bottom. You know what I'm talking about? You know
exactly what you're talking about.
And then you have to like unpeel the bottom of the wrap.
So recently, after a late night gig in a camp, I usually don't eat before. I usually eat after the gig, but a lot of the times I want to just get on the road because it's late. So I brought the ingredients to make my own wrap on the way home. And I was like,
oh my gosh, where did you assemble that?
Wait, hold on. I actually I have it down to a science. I literally bring gloves. I bring a wrapping paper. I've got it down. I've got it. I figured it out.
I would fly down just to like video you do this.
Time out. Remember we talked about the driving shirt, the shirt that you wear? That's where this comes from.
Confirm, this is happening in your car.
The eating is happening in my car.
So where are you assembling it?
I assemble it usually on the floor with a camp bench as my table, because every camp has benches. So that's my table. And I use I have a whole system where I put the stuff I learned by asking my good friend ChatGPT what's the best way to do this based on what I want to put in the wrap and based on what. Put the stuff first, then the sauce, then wrap it, then put it in paper, put it in a bag. I have it all ready to go. I can make it in 5 minutes and be in the car and eat on the way home. It's amazing.
So funny.
It's, hey, you know what? It's late at night.
You got to do what you got to do.
Well, I got two choices. I could either do that or take an extra hour of driving time to drive to Woodburn and get something from Dougie's or, one of those Smash House, one of the places that's open late over there, which is unbelievable how those places stay open late and they're packed till forever o'clock.
Yeah.
But you know what I hate? I hate seeing, the kitchen is basically borderline closed and then the bus pulls up with 50 kids and the guys in the kitchen are oh man. And they just cleaned everything and got us started up. But that's the gig.
I tell restaurants all the times when they say to talk about the closing time issue is I always say, whatever time you want to close, just make it an hour later in your head. So if you think you're going to close at 9 or 10, close at 9. And then as you're cleaning up, you could still whatever. But if you're going to say I close at 9 and then at 8:45 someone comes in and you're annoyed, well, I mean, that's on you. You say you close at 9.
Do what some of the higher end restaurants is, which we close at 10.
Right,
our kitchen closes at 9. Done. Right. Finished. Which gives them time to do that cleanup or to get the people out, or in the takeout sense, they're not having that guy walk in 5 minutes to close time after you Windex the whole counter and asking you to start making a shawarma wrap.
There's nothing more sad than the expression on that person's face, both sides of the glass.
Both sides of the glass, exactly. It's you got anything left? And the guy,
no one's done that as an Instagram reel. Just the two sides.
The guy has literally just Windexed the entire counter, and everything is sparkling clean. And somebody comes,
and then the person goes straight into begging mode, please, 5 minutes, one sandwich.
But I called and you said you were open till 10, and it's.
I'm gonna leave you a very nasty Google review.
Yeah, wow. Speaking of Google reviews, all right. My name is Digital Dove. His name is Sruly Cooks. We hope you enjoyed episode 9 of the Cholent. We're gonna wrap it up here. We'll see you at the next one. Thank you.
Have a good week.